All righty. Good evening, everyone. This is Ron. It is Monday, uh, July 6th, a little after 6 p.m. And we'll get started. See if we have any questions today. On yesterday, we primarily spoke from Genesis chapter 1, looking at creation, and not so much looking at creation as much as looking at the role that we play in being Elohim in the earth, and looking at it from the perspective that creation is just taking place. The scriptures have been distorted, as we've talked about before, uh, for a reason, and I don't. Uh, I see that now as maybe something positive for such a time as this. Those distortions have kind of hidden things away from people who were not sincere about trying to get on the search and stay on it. For whatever reason, the Creator allowed it to happen. And so as we delve into this and look at it, what we see is we're taking a real internal look at ourselves and what it means to be Elohim, what it means to when it talks about the seemingly duality of heaven and earth, and the whole creation story is that it looks as though it may have happened thousands of years is actually taking place right now as we speak. So that's sort of what we looked at yesterday, and
Get up.
we used Genesis 1 and portions of
We got some steak and some buns, so I'm gonna make a hoagie.
you gonna give me some? Y'all, everybody mute the phone, please. Thank you. That does sound good though.
It
Uh,
does.
yes. But that's where we are. Do we have any questions or anything about what we discussed on yesterday? Um, if you will, please, I wouldn't mind sort of picking up on that some today, because the pastor sent me a video this morning, and I'm not sure who else may have viewed it, but it was talking about the dams on Turtle Island, and what the purpose of the dams, and we talk about the things we've been explained about dams, about blocking the water for irrigation purposes or electrical purposes, and all that stuff is fine, but this is talking purely spiritual, and it was very informative to me, although I can't answer everything about it, but I think it plugged into what we discussed yesterday because uh, one, I think the water represents femininity. And I think as we looked at that yesterday, as I pointed out some things with the water, but I did not give an explanation because I didn't see it all. Like, for example, uh, the mist uh, falling on the whole earth, but why was Adam made from dust? I think it speaks to something about the role of masculinity being in a lesser role, but not in the sense that we would think, and I say a lesser role, I don't mean like he was totally unnecessary. Spiritually is very necessary, but meaning he's not in the leadership position that we've been led to believe. So, but there are a lot of things that I thought came out of that video, and I'm going to ask Pastor if he would to kind of go into it a little bit and see if he sees any connections there. Please, sir. Pastor, are you muted?
Hey, Ron, I got a question.
I don't know what I would do if I had to tell me I'm muted.
Don has a question, Pastor. You want to let him go
Yeah, go
first?
ahead, Don, and I'll come afterwards.
Okay. When you went like the word dust, I was like my question was like other times that the word dust is used and in the context and like as far as the meaning behind that word, I just kind of wanted to see because I'm pretty sure you know, and so I just wanted to
Right.
know what.
Well, are you sure I know? I didn't.
I'm pretty sure you know. I'm pretty sure you know what the behind it.
I looked it up, Don, but I did not write it down. It's from Hebrews Strong's Hebrews 6 to 83, and it talks about ashes, dust, and powder. So I just took that to mean dust means dust. You know.
Um, I have something on that.
Okay.
Um, the idea that the body was made from dust.
Uh-huh.
The esoteric meaning of dust is an illusion, an illusion of a physical form.
Hmm.
So, so it's temporal.
Okay.
So when it talks about the body having the man being made from dust, it's talking about it is the body itself is temporary. It does have it is not immortal at all. So it's saying that the outer crust of of man or of who you are is temporal, but you are not, and that's why we say my body as opposed to I'm this body. You see that done?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, that makes sense. Kind of, yeah, kind of shed some light on that. So, okay, go ahead. I'm gonna think on that for a minute.
Okay.
Well, let me. I got another question. Because when I think about dust, and tell me if I'm going somewhere off or connecting what you're talking about. Like when I think of dust, I think of the remnant of something. You know what I'm saying? When like the remnants of a thing, and so like when I kind of looked at it, I was when you said that, I was thinking of after the creator got through creating the remnant. You know what I'm saying? The remnant made from. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I think it was more. I think it was more of a message to those of us who are living these bodies that don't expect. I mean, don't think that this is who you are, because this is temporary. This is not something that's eternal. It is you are immortal, but that the house that you live in is not. Does that help, Don?
Yes, sir. That makes sense.
Okay. Now, any questions about that before we go to the water? I agree with you on that. Water is feminine. Water, the water is speaks to our subconscious, our emotional subconsciousness, and that's because um, water, according to the esoteric understanding of water, it obeys um, the same way our feelings do. Sometimes it's clear, sometimes it's turbulent, sometimes it's deep, sometimes it's shallow. Sometimes our feelings, our emotions are turbulent. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes we have clarity on what we are feeling. There are times when we don't. And it also carries the idea of having unexpressed thoughts. So when we read or when we understand from the waters that were dammed, that the water carries memory, and that the water carries historical understandings, then we begin to get a clearer picture as to why they found it necessary to put the dams in the places where they put them because it was like clogging the flow of energy.
Mhm.
Also, water speaks of rebirth and purification. And that's where the whole idea of water immersion came from. 99% of all the religions have some kind of religious purification method that includes water, washing away spiritual impurities, etc. And water is also flexible; it flows, and when you dam it up, um, it does not have the force that it did prior to. The persistency is there because water will make its way through just about anything over time. So that's it. I see that the dams, where they were, when I looked at that video that you were speaking of, the dams where they were placed in sacred areas.
Yeah.
And I heard a little while ago a statement was made by Trump, and this is what he said. He said that they were asking him questions about the money that his kids are making while he's in the presidency, and one of his first statements was, "Well, if they were to own a cupcake, open up a cupcake store, it's the energy of the presidency that goes with them." Did you hear that? Did you hear that? What did you get from that? Nobody got anything from that.
So he's basically saying the authority that the president takes, they take with them.
Absolutely. What he's saying definitely is that my energy goes with them wherever they endeavor to do. The energy, I am the president, and the energy of the presidency goes with them, and it's going to be effective. It's going to take off because of my energy. He did not say I'm their daddy. He said energy.
Hmm.
So, Pastor,
Uh-huh.
is that the same thing as energy flows where attention goes?
It's the same principle, but that's
Right.
we're
Okay.
not using it the same way. What do you see? This is the thing: if someone who is obtuse as he is can speak of energy that way, what about the people who are pulling his strings?
Yeah.
I see that as being more important than what he said. If he understands that, if he said that, whether he understood it or not, the principle has been embraced by him, and it had to have its genesis someplace other than with him. Because I don't see him being able to articulate that without being able to articulate so many other simpler things. That's all.
So he's pulling it from the macro?
No,
Well, no, I'm misunderstanding then.
he's pulling it from the people who manipulate him. Europeans
Oh,
know,
I got it.
Europeans know more about the power of the energy of us than we have ever known since we've been alive. Now, when I say we, I'm talking about being alive. I'm talking about us who are living now, who are breathing in these bodies now. They know more about it than we have ever known up until now. Because if we had known about it earlier, we would have done something about it differently than follow Christianity. Excuse me. That's what I'm saying.
That makes sense. Yeah, I got it now. Okay.
I'm also,
Thank you for clarity.
you're quite welcome, dear. I'm also saying something else. I'm also saying that when we talk about Akebalon, and I'm going to come back to the water in a moment. When we talk about Akebalon, we understand that Akebalon is the whole earth. Are we on the same page? Please say yes or no.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
That Akebalon being the whole earth. That means that there were people on all over the land masses in this earth. There were the Akebalonians were the first in the earth on every single landmass. What am I saying? There is the archaeologists talk about the people out of Africa migrating to other places. I do not believe that that's the case at all. I believe that when the Cosmic Mother gave birth, we showed up on every landmass or every area on this earth. And that is the reason, if you go far enough back in your research on Japan, you will see that there are people who are highly melanated, who have the exact same features as Japanese do to this day. If you go to Australia, the same thing. If you come to this country, the same thing. The other part of that I do believe undergirds what I'm saying is this. There are more pyramids in this country than there are in Egypt. Well, in this country, I mean, in North and South America, rather than there are in Egypt. There are more in North America than there are in South America. They are called mounds, as opposed to pyramids. The most high, the largest temple outside of Kemet is in the Grand Canyon. There is so much in the Grand Canyon that connects us to everything in Kemet and the rest of the world until it is not even funny. That is the reason that section of the Grand Canyon is off limits. There are places in South America that are off limits. Every place that you can look at, that you can explore and tell that it is ancient, meaning that it is the pyramids here are just as old as the pyramids in Kemet. And the structure, the bone structures that they have found, the archaeologists have found, what they have found in these structures and this DNA is the DNA of people who look like us, highly melanated people. I am saying that regardless of where you are on this earth, we have already been there. That's what I'm saying. And that is the reason Akebalon is not just one continent that's called Africa today. Akebalon is the whole earth, because the life of humanity started in every area of the earth, and all the people who came into existence from the highly melanated people. If you look at the history of them, whether it be Chinese, Japanese, Korean, the Aborigines, it does not matter. The Incas, all of them had their genesis from people who were highly melanated. And there were, and 20,000 years ago, yes, there was travel from the coast of Africa to this part of the world. However, 100,000 years prior to, we were in this part of the world as well as other parts of the world. The only part of the world that rejected who we are was Europe. So I am saying that where we are right now in this place called America, I think you mentioned it was called Turtle Island in the beginning.
Yes.
And for years, of course we studied that. We've known that for years that's what the Native Americans, I put that in quotations, called it. I am not talking about Native Americans being indigenous to this landmass. They are not. They are migrants. They are migrants from southern Russia. We are the indigenous people of this landmass. And if you stop looking at the history that the white folk wrote about cowboys and Indians, and start looking at the history of the photographs that were taken even during the period of enslavement, you will see that the Native Americans were highly melanated. They were just the same color that we are. The transference of identity came when Europeans made a decision that they were going to put us at the bottom of the totem pole, and they took these people who they called indigenous and put them in a position of rulership of this land, ownership rather of this land, as opposed to the ones who they found when they first got here, and that was us. Questions or comments about that?
I would suppose that us being the first one on every land mass, every part of the earth has a very significant value to it. What do you see that as?
There is no life without us. Regardless of where you are, who you are, there's no life without us. Every group of people on this earth came from our genes. Just that simple. There is nothing complex about it. But it is presented as being a complex theory because that is what the colonizers want us to believe. Can you imagine the mindset that would shift when people understand that we are the only people who occupied every inch of this earth before anyone else did? Think about that. And without having to have migrated any place. It was to their advantage to remove that ownership from us, or that presence throughout the inception of life in this earth, to remove it from us. We are the ones who have always been here. And I do not believe that that is a coincidence that we are doing what we are doing. I do believe that because so many of our people from different parts of the world, I beg your pardon? Did someone say something?
Yeah, I apologize, Pastor. I'll speak after you when you're done.
Oh, okay. I lost my thoughts, so go ahead, George.
Yeah, Pastor, I was just, again, concurring with you with regards to us being here, at the beginning when we talk about, our history and the paleo, they call it the Paleo Americans, the indigenous people were blacks who were already here. And I think that if we go back and look at not just the spiritual aspect of who we are, but looking at it also in terms of science, when we talk about the cosmic mother creating humanity, where the gods of Isis and Osiris, the gods of Mayat, the gods and goddesses, in terms of us being able to now appreciate how it was divine order that we're now able to see that we were here from the beginning. When you talked about the waters and we talk about the eternal waters of the Nun, all of it was in that. And if we look at again, the history, I think again, as you're saying, you look at the Olmec heads, you talked about the mounds, but look at those images, those symbols, those things that were already, created by us, where we're able to look at the facts. We're able to look at the truth in terms of those images. And so I just wanted to, again, mention that there's visual documentation. We talked about visuals, we talked about images, we talked about symbols. They are all there for us to look at, to study, to do a comparative analysis. And so it wasn't, again, as they say, that it was the Europeans, or it was the um, white supremacy or the power of Europeans in terms of wanting to create another story. So again, I'm just, honored to be able to hear what I'm hearing for the purpose of us being able to understand the origin. I'm done. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you. Appreciate that. The reason that we are doing what we are doing because this place, this space was chosen to be the place where all of this must take place. If you do your, what is it? Genetics, not 23andMe or the other one, because 23andMe is gone. You know the people who do the genetics since
Ancestry.
Ancestry. Thank you, Audrey. Ancestry. If you look at your genes with Ancestry, you say, well, I came from Africa, and I've done this. I came from Africa because these are my genes, blah, 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 right? You can go to the continent of Africa and you're going to find genes in people in Nigeria that are also in people in Rwanda. So what am I saying to you? All of us carry the same genes. All of us did not come on that boat from Africa. Some of us did, but all of us didn't. There are people who look like us, who are indigenous to this part of the world. And they were here. If you read what 1492 what Columbus wrote in his diary when he landed in the Caribbean, the first interest in his diary about the people were they are black. The first interest in his diary, he didn't say anything about them being pale skinned or being brown or being red or any other color. He said they were black. Was it Cabot who sailed to America first from England? In his diary, the same thing, that we are black. The people who they came in contact first looked like us. If you look at the earlier photos of Native Americans, they look like us. That only changed during the late 1800s. Prior to that, there were no indigenous people who looked like they say the Native Americans look today. None of them look like that. When our great grandparents or grandparents told us that they were Cherokee and they didn't find any Cherokee blood in them, that's because the Cherokees are not Cherokees. They are Eurasians. They are Europeans and Asians who came from southern Russia across the Bering Strait. There is no doubt in my mind, I believe from the depths of my soul, that the reason we are being introduced to this, the reason we are seeing it more clearly than we've ever seen it before, is because it is time. It is time for the Holy Land to express itself. What am I saying to you? It is time for the holy consciousness, the consciousness that has been set aside for the redemption of humanity, to rise to its rightful place so that humanity can be redeemed from the shackles of ignorance, from the shackles of evilness. And that redemption begins here on this landmass. This portion of Akabalon is where it takes place. The mixture of the priesthoods, the melting pot was this landmass. When we who were already here were enslaved, and those who were brought here were enslaved, the ones who were enslaved first were the priesthoods, the kings, the queens, the leadership, the royal families. That's who they enslaved first, because they knew if they cut the head off, they could control the rest of the people. And I am saying the reason we are able to survive is because our Creator orchestrated that survival. And no longer should we see ourselves as being separate entities from anyone who looks like us, even though they say that. That's okay for them to say that, but not us. Because we are the black ones. And that doesn't mean just the color of our skin. It means also the divinity. We are the ones who recognize the divinity that we are. We recognize who we are, that we are divine beings. And it would not shock me to find out that at the onset of enslavement throughout the world, that the priesthood was purposely taken into enslavement for the express purpose of bringing them together, so that when we rose up as we have risen, it is at that time we will begin to see who we are and understand that what we read in the scripture is a precursor not only for what was, but what is to come. And that precursor is this. And Ron, I think Brian brought up yesterday about our being here to create the new heaven and the new earth. Bring into the new heaven. What is the new heaven? A clearer understanding of spirituality. And what is the new earth? A transference of a dominant culture of consciousness that is antithetical to divinity. It is incumbent upon us to redeem consciousness from the shackles of evilness, from the shackles of barbaricness, from all of those things that are antithetical to life. And now we are engaged in doing that. And the exposure of everything that was keeping humans in bondage has been shown to us and is still being revealed to us. However, the image of self has been revealed to us, yet the purpose of that image being shown to us where we are just not beginning to see it, because we are indeed the vanguard, the tip of the spear, the ones who are to bring redemption to the mindset of, to the consciousness of the earth. And when the consciousness of the earth is one with the consciousness of the new heaven, or the clearer understanding of what spirituality is, that is when humanity is free. Question, Ron?
No, I'm just listening.
Okay. I thought you raised up. You had a question. That's all. Are there any questions about that? Okay. So if there was not something there in the Grand Canyon that tells us more about what I'm talking about now, why is it that no one is allowed to go in there? Not even the curators from the Smithsonian Institute anymore. They are not allowed in there. Why? Why is it that the primary focus on the destruction of our history is destroying the history, the contributions of the woman of Akebalon? Why? Because they understand that when we wrap our minds around the power, the essence of what life really is, and we began to drink from the well of feminine understanding and embrace the spiritual nature of what femininity truly is, there is no holding us back from anything. That is the reason that we are able to see things beyond what we have been told. And right now we are seeing things far beyond what we've been told. And our understanding of the writings in the books that's called the Bible, our understandings are much more clearer than they have ever been. I did not understand to today that this idea of dust was speaking to the body being temporal. I did not understand that until today, that is talking about what you walk around in is temporary. When it says that flesh and blood cannot enter the heaven, what is it talking about? It is saying that this carnal physical body and the life that keeps it going, which is in the blood, those things are not spiritual, and they cannot enter in, or they cannot enter into that space of spiritual clarity. Why? Because they are physical. Flesh and blood, they are temporal. They are not permanent entities. You can. The light of who you are does every single day. We just don't, many of us just don't recognize where we are, who we are, and why we are where we are. And we are getting a clearer understanding of that now. So, I do believe that there is more to the spiritual essence of this landmass called America than we have seen up to this point. I do believe that. I believe that right now we are on the precipice of understanding the nature, the reasoning behind our being born in this place called America. I believe that. And I believe that maybe I should shift that word from believe. I know that we are here for a reason. I know that we have always been here. I know that we are the priests of our people. We are the priests of our people. We are the international, the global priesthood for our people. And our people who are on that continent that all the focus is on are beginning to move in ways that they never thought they could, because they are under the guidance and the energy of protection from the priesthood that covers all of our people wherever they are. I believe that. I know that. There's no doubt in my mind. I just read today where the president of Namibia, she is female, and she made a declaration that they are taking the land back from the Germans who took it from them. As we speak, this is happening. This is unheard of without someone being killed already. This is unheard of, but it's happening. Why? It did not happen before we were on this journey. It did not happen. Nowhere in history have I read, and I ask if you have read anything that's even close to what we're talking about right now. The reason that when we read in the scriptures, I will bring Cush back to me, even if I have to take them across the great river in chains. Do you guys remember that? This is not rhetorical.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
It's no longer there. Why? It's no longer there because it is no longer pertinent to the journey. That's why it's no longer there. It doesn't need to be there because we're already here. We have already made the decision that our desires are clear to the Creator. Even if they're not clear to us, the Creator sees the clarity of our desires based upon how we move. No matter what makes an attempt to stop us, we move beyond it. Nothing will impede the movement of our desires to bring harmony to mankind because we have truly embraced the divine essence of who we have been created to be. This is not something that we see tomorrow. This is something that we have been seeing since yesterday. So it's nothing new to us. We just did not know how to describe it. It's nothing new to us. The walk is different, but not new. We had to go through the religious settings. We had to do this, get the understandings of the major religions in the earth. We had to get these understandings so that we will be able to more clearly understand who we are and where we stand in relationship to all of these man-made religions that's called spirituality. We had to do that. There is not one country, if you want to call them country, on the face of this earth that you cannot trace back to their beginning looking just like us. And it is not because of migration out of Africa. It is because the ones who gave birth to Japanese have always been there since the beginning. The ones who did the same thing in China have always been there since the beginning. The one who did the same thing for the Aborigines have always been there from the beginning. And that is the reason there are so many people who look like us, who talk about that there are forefathers telling them that life started where they are. The Aborigines would tell you that the ancestors showed them that their origin was there in Australia. And we have challenged that because we had white archaeologists to tell us all life started on that continent that they named Africa, as opposed to looking at the global understanding of what Okabelon means and making application of that to the existence of us in this earth. Questions or comments?
Yeah.
Are you able to see this? Does this resonate?
It does.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
We are, go ahead, thank you. We are a people who has just begun to walk into its own. We are the phoenix who has risen from the ashes, and we shall never burn again. It shall never happen again. And being the phoenix that has risen from the ashes, is incumbent upon us to not only raise up all of those who look like us, but more importantly, to raise up all of those who came from us. We are responsible for them. We are responsible to each other, but not for each other. But we are responsible for them because we birthed them. And you are responsible for your children until they reach maturity. And our children have not reached maturity, whether they are Chinese or European. They are not mature. If they were mature, they would not reject their God. Thou shalt have no other God before me. What am I saying? You have created divinities in an effort to remove the divine energy from the earth, or at the very least to control it, to take the energy of the divine in the earth and appropriated it for your evil purposes. That is what's been going on. That appropriation has ended. That shall be no more. It has ended. And when I say it has ended, I am talking about not just the Europeans in this country or the Europeans in Europe. I'm talking about the Europeans worldwide. This appropriation of spiritual energy has ended. No longer will this energy be available for them to take advantage of the world and manipulate its people. We are the divine entities, and we cannot allow that to happen. And that is the reason that AI can be brought online, but it will not function. It will not do what the expectations are for it, because it is not God. The energy that they have chosen to use to make it do what they wanted to do belongs to us. And we are reappropriating that energy, and it will not work. No matter how much money they put into it, no matter how many people who look like us they bring into the fold, it will not work. And I want you to hear this. I want you to hear this. It will not work. I'm not saying it might not. I'm telling you, it is not going to do what they expect it to do. And I stand on that. And I say that with my whole chest. Questions or comments?
Ashe.
I say, you say.
Thank you. Questions or comments? We are here to stay because we never left. We never left. How did it come? How did it happen? How did all of this globe get populated with us? Simply by the desire of the womb of the cosmos. We were birthed from the universe, and the Dogon knows where they came from, because they were in an isolated place where they were not tainted by the invaders, and they passed it on to each other. Each generation, they passed the history to each generation, and they knew where they came from. Why? Because they knew that all of us are star people. Star people. When I say star people, all of us came from the universe. All of us have the energy of the stars. All of us are the people of the sun. All of us are. And because we are the people of the sun, because we are the people of the universe, there is no life on this earth without us. It takes melanin. It takes the energy from the sun to sustain life in this earth. And that's who we are. It is no coincidence that the hole that's in the ozone now is going to have a greater negative impact on the ones who put the hole in the ozone rather than those who they enslaved. It's going to have a greater impact. And once it's finished, once the impact has been felt, has been experienced, it is then that because of our desires, that hole in the ozone will become as it was from the beginning. It will no longer be an adversary to the life in this earth, because we are the sustainers of that life. And that's how we dominate. That's how it is not time for that hole to be repaired. There has to be some suffering by those who put the hole in the ozone, by those who benefited from it, by those who have lived based on white privilege all of this time. It's time for them to reap the pain of what they have done. And during the course of that, repentance will take place. And that repentance comes in the form of the cries that we are beginning to hear. Where are the black people? How come they are not helping us? They are not asking anybody to come from Haiti, to come from Jamaica, to come from Africa, to come from Europe. They are not asking anyone to come from any of the Caribbean islands to help them. They are talking about us. Where are the Black Americans? Why are they not helping us? What they are saying is, where's God? God, when are you going to hear our cries? That's what they're saying. And we are saying, oh, we hear your cries, but you haven't learned yet. That's what we are saying. We are saying, yes, Moses, these are your people. You are the one who drew everything, was destined to draw everything out of them that was antithetical to life. We are in that mode right now. We are waiting. We are here. We have not gone to that space where we draw things out of them. But we made provisions for the drawing to take place because of what we put in the macro. And when we talk about the drawing out of them, that is a desire to move in a manner that is foreign to them, not understanding why they are moving in that manner, meaning that why are they crying to the ones who they have sought to destroy? Why are they crying out to those who were enslaved? Why are they crying out to those who they say that are animals? Why are they crying out to them? Why are they crying out to us? Because they know who we are. They understand who we are. Right now, they think that we are civil rights folks. Because that's all they've seen us do, march. That's what they want us to do now. But the day is coming, and soon shall it be, that they will cry out, deliver us. They will begin to see that truly we are the divine energy in this earth, and deliverance can only come through divine energy. And these dams that have been put in place, they were put there to bottle up the energy flows, to hide the history, because water carries memory. And if you can see this picture, when water carries memory, and when you allow that water to flow freely, what did we do? All of our religious, spiritual rituals that were conducted in water was conducted in free-flowing water, because water carries memory. And the memories that's in that water brings memory to us, shows us who we are, and give us the power that's necessary to do what we are here to do. And when that water flows and the memory comes from it, it is no different than the umbilical fluid that flows, that's in the womb of the female, that flows when the baby comes out. That the water flows with memory, and there are so many correlations between what we have seen Europeans do, not only in this country but around the world, that has been designed to stifle the flow of spirituality in this earth. And they believe that regardless of how much we search, we will not be able to find what they have hidden. But what they did not understand is that what they hid was hidden in the material world. What we know in terms of our memory is spiritual, and you cannot hide anything that's spiritual from God. The only one who can hide it from God is God itself, because it does not know who it is, and it pushes everything out of his mind that has not been given to it by the colonizer. When we free ourselves from thinking like the colonizer and separate ourselves from the colonizer's viewpoints, then we will begin to see how much memory that is within us, and how we are being shown day in and day out who we are, and at the same time recognizing the atrocities that we've had to endure. But when we recognize them, we are not responding to them with hatred. We are not responding to them with vengeance. We are simply seeing them and understanding that love and kindness is what brings balance. Loving kindness is what maintains balance. Anger and hatred does not. It creates chaos. And we are the order, so we cannot be the creators of chaos. We must bring balance to everything, which means that we are bringing order to the chaos. I'm done. Thank you. That's all I see.
That was a lot.
Understanding who we are, then the divinity that we are, gives us to know that we are the living one. We are that spiritual living water.
Excuse me. Is that Miss Barber speaking?
Yes.
Yes.
Miss Barber, I need you to speak up a little bit, sweetheart.
Oh, okay. Understanding then who we are, the divinity that we are, gives us to know that we are living water. In other words, we understand that this physical body is simply a representative of the spiritual, which is more real. The cells are surrounded by fluid. It takes fluid, it takes blood, it takes whatever to move oxygen, etc., through the body. But we are more than that. We are living water. That's more than just the physical that we see, just the physical that we understand. The living water has the memory, and that is what causes us, gives us what we need, facilitates what we need to be even more awakened to the divinity that we are.
Thank you. Anyone else? Ron.
Right. Some job. Beautiful. Thank you for your energy, guys. I guess that's it for the evening. No questions or comments. You have a great week and look forward to Saturday. Okay.
See you. Thank you, guys.
Take care, family.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.